Lenny's 73, he's been doing car repairs since the 60s. He's got his own private shop here in Tampa. He's installing new fog lights for me on my new Kia Soul. And Lenny, you were the one that suggested I get the Soul.
Yeah. It's inexpensive, it's made pretty good. Bring this down a little bit. The washer, it looks like you got the washer pump there.
If only it would stay this clean for all its life. So, a couple years ago when I was getting my Acura fixed and I was telling you about the compact cars I was interested in, and you suggested the Kia Soul because you said it was made well and it's not expensive if it ever needs fixing. What else can you tell the viewers about a Kia Soul that you experienced?
It has disc brakes all the way around, and that's a plus, so that makes it better than some of the other cars that have drum brakes in the back. And it's pretty simple to work on. I mean, right now it's like, this is kind of like cosmetic more.
How do you feel about the American-made cars today, Lenny?
I like the GM. Ford stinks. Chrysler's got their own problems.
Yeah, a lot of mechanics I watch online say the same thing you do. What do you think the problem with Ford is?
They like doing things that nobody else does.
Hey, you're a generation older than me, but you'll remember what Ford stands for. Do you remember what Ford stands for?
Yeah,
Fix or repair daily. Or what was the other one? Found on the road dead.
Right. Ford used to be good. Then they decided to make changes that were idiotic as far as I'm concerned.
My first Ford, I think it was a 78 Maverick or 76 Maverick. And when you go up a hill, it would make sounds like marbles in a tin can. When you accelerate,
Sounds like the gas was burning too fast. Yeah.
And we had it to the dealer and one excuse after another. But it would go when you'd step on the gas and go up a hill.
No, there we go. It depends on what the noises you're hearing. It's like, it may not be what I'm thinking of, but...
And my next car was a 1980 Oldsmobile Cutlass Supreme.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
But it had a horrible engine.
No.
When you step on the gas, it hesitated. It wouldn't go until 3 seconds later.
What year was it?
I think it was 1980.
1980 Olds.
Cutlass Supreme.
Okay, that was mid-size.
That was what?
Mid-size. That was a mid-size car.
Now, a couple years ago, I had a client that came in to get the haircut, and he used to work for GM. He said that was the worst motor they ever, one of the worst motors that year.
Depends on, actually, motors, basically, they all were pretty decent. In 1980, depends on what engine was actually in there. Because they didn't come out until electronic carburetors until 81.
Yeah, but that old Cutlass, man, you step on the gas pedal, and it would hesitate. It wouldn't go until like 3 seconds later.
Well, then somebody don't know how to fix it.
And I had it to the dealer several times.
Well, I don't know what engines in here. I haven't had any that had a problem that I couldn't fix.
So he's getting the first one in. Is that the right side, Lenny?
No, that's the left side.
No, I mean, is that the correct side? So this is what was in there. It's just like a cap with a reflector on it. One of the best parts of coming to the heart of Tampa is the Spanish restaurants, and in this industrial area, industrial parkway area here, is a little drive-through restaurant. It reminds you of the old days when you grew up, where you drive through and pick up a case of beer, soda. They load it in your car for you and take off. Well, they do the same thing there now. Plus, they make sandwiches. So this is the authentic Cuban sandwich, and I look forward to getting one of these every time I come visit Lenny. "73 years old, this man. He works like an 18-year-old and looks like he's in his 50s. He's an inspiration. He's telling me, basically watching him is telling me, never stop working and you'll never get old. That's what my grandmother said. My grandmother always said, I'm sorry I quit working because the day I stopped working I got old. Chevy Monte Carlo?
Yeah.
78?
78, yeah.
Which is what it became. It was the same as the Cutlass back then.
Yeah, it was the same as the Cutlass.
And it was also
the only thing, the Cutlass had a different engine.
Yeah. And then the Chevy was the Monte Carlo.
Monte Carlo, or the Monte Carlo was the two-door, but then they had the Malibu. It was the four-door.
Right.
Malibu was the four-door.
And then we said that the Buick was the Regal.
The Regal, right.
It was the one with the window in the back was like flat, and then the trunk curved down.
Well, it was basically all the same body. The only thing different was the dash and all the emblems.
Right.
Everything else was the same.
Right.
Okay. That's where the 77, the full-size body changed. They went all to the same body.
And then in 1981, they put plastic bumpers on them all, because in 1980 and prior were all metal steel bumpers.
Okay. But in 81, it was a different change because they went to all electronic carburetors.
Okay.
That was different. Okay. Same body. Okay.
Yep.
But in 77, you had a choice of engines by the size. And people complained because they said, I got an Oldsmobile with a Chevy engine. No, they're all GM engines. Okay. nobody realizes what Ford had done. Ford they had basically just several engines, and they used them in all their cars.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, they were Ford engines, but they used them in all their cars. They just went by to the side. But prior to 76 and below, Cadillac had its own engine, Pontiac had their own engine, Oldsmobile had their own engine, Chevy had their own engine, and they all had their own engine, which they had because it was always identified by the color.
Mm-hmm.
There were different colors, there were different engines. Let me see if this guy's got my phone.
Okay, so Lenny said to adjust the angle of the light, that's what this little screw here is for. So you can adjust the angle of the light. So all you Kia Soul owners out there.
Probably just up and down, I guess.
Up and down, okay. Well, it's good to know. So I'm holding that for Lenny, so he can get the light in. In case you haven't guessed it, we're near the airport. That was a plane taking off. So this is the industrial area, parkway, or industrial, whatever you call it back here. So where all these little shops are. These are all individual businesses. These are all small business in America. You see, this is the heart of America. All the small businesses. These are the people that should be helped. That always have the hardest time getting help to stay in business, to get those government loans for the pandemic. You know, these are not the rich CEOs making millions a year. These are hardworking people with their own little businesses. This is everywhere in the heart of America. So don't let any other politician that tells you otherwise and always wants to invest money in Wall Street constantly and ignore the little people. If you support that, that's bullshit. Now let's see how my man's doing. Oh, he's taking customer calls. So here we are so far. It's looking good. It's looking real good. Like I said, I was going to do these myself, but and we've got lights.